Hi, author Read Aloud today is a story about a little bear. It was inspired from my work as a kindergarten teacher for a number of years and also as an author who loves to write for children. This story about the little bear, Henry Has the Hiccups, is by Karen Cogan. And we'll turn the page and read the story together. Here is Henry. Henry Bear hid behind leaves in the forest at the bottom of an old oak tree. He was playing hide and seek with a green toad that didn't want to play. He took one look at Henry and hopped away. Henry frowned. Everyone was too busy to play today, even the toad. He might as well go home. As he walked through the forest, he began to sing to himself. But halfway through his song, Henry gave a loud hiccup. He tried to sing again. It sounded like peas porridge, hic, peas, hic, rich cold. Henry laughed. He liked the way it sounded. He sang all the way home with his hiccups. When he got to his house, he hiccuped right into the kitchen. Mama Bear turned around. Henry, what a noise to make in my kitchen. I can't help it, Mama. I've got the hiccups. Henry looked at the honey pot sitting on the table. I bet a big drink of honey would make them go away. Mama shook her head. I'm sorry, Henry. I used it all to make honey cakes. Grandpa and Grandma are coming to dinner tonight. Have a drink of water instead. That will get rid of your hiccups. She handed Henry a glass of water. Henry drank the water. Hiccup, said Henry. Sometimes it takes a while to work, said Mama Bear. You run along and play. Henry went into the living room. His big sister Betty was watching a scary movie on television. Henry tiptoed behind her chair. He watched as the monster came closer and closer. Then, hiccup, said Henry. Help! Betty screamed, jumping out of her chair. When she saw Henry, she cried, You scared me, you silly. I have the hiccups, said Henry. I tried some water to get rid of them. Water doesn't cure hiccups. Eat a spoonful of sugar. That's what cures hiccups. And don't sneak up on me again. Henry got a spoonful of sugar. He swallowed. Tasted good, but not as good as honey. Hiccup, said Henry. Uh-oh, he still has the hiccups. He went upstairs and found his brother Bart in the bedroom. Bart was building a model plane. May I help? Asked Henry. Henry loved planes. You may watch, answered Bart, but be very still. This is the hard part. Bart squeezed glue onto a tiny part of the plane. Henry leaned closer. Hiccup, said Henry. Oh dear. Bart squeezed too much glue. It ran off the plane and onto his hand. Bart turned red in the face. I told you to be still, he said. I have the hiccups, said Henry. Go stand on your head, Bart shouted. Henry decided to try it. He stood on his head until he got very dizzy. Then, hiccup, said Henry. He went downstairs and found Papa Bear dozing on the couch. Henry wanted Papa to read him a story. Hic, said Henry. Papa opened one eye. Hic, said Henry. Papa opened both eyes. I'm glad you're awake, said Henry. Will you read me a story? Papa yawned and stretched. First, you should get rid of those hiccups. Hold your breath and count to 10. It always works for me. Henry wondered why everyone wanted him to get rid of the hiccups. He thought they were fun. Just for Papa, He held his breath and counted slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Henry let out his breath in a long sigh. Everything was quiet. Then, "Hiccup," said Henry. The doorbell rang. Grandpa and Grandma had come for dinner. Henry opened the door. Grandpa held a pot of honey. "Hi, Henry," said Grandpa. "Hiccup," said Henry. Grandpa looked surprised. Mama said, "Henry has the hiccups. He can't get rid of them. They're pretty loud. Maybe he should eat in the kitchen." Henry felt sad. He didn't want to eat alone. He wanted to eat with Grandpa. Suddenly, he didn't want the hiccups anymore. "I can cure his hiccups," Grandpa promised. "Come and sit on my lap while I tell you a story." Grandpa sat in a big chair, and Henry sat on his lap. "Once there was a little bear just your size, and he had the hiccups. He was walking home through the forest late one night. Suddenly he heard footsteps behind him. He knew there was a monster named Boo who lived in the forest. It had long arms and big bony fingers. The little bear wondered if it was following him. He felt warm breath on the back of his neck. He turned around and it was Boo! Shouted Grandpa. "Whoo!" cried Henry. "Scared you, didn't I?" Grandpa chuckled. "Yes," said Henry. Everyone waited. Then, "Hiccup," said Henry. Oh my, Henry still has the hiccups. Grandpa sighed. Sometimes the cure takes a while. Henry can carry this honey to the kitchen. By the time he comes back, I'll bet his hiccups will be gone. Henry took the honey to the kitchen. He had to have just one little drink of the sweet gooey treat. The first sip tasted sweet and good. He took another taste. He tasted and tasted until it was all gone. When Henry sat down to supper, Betty said, "Henry doesn't have the hiccups. The sugar cured him." "You mean the water," said Mama. "I told him to hold his breath and count to 10, said Papa. It must have finally worked. That's how he got rid of the hiccups. "No, I scared them out of him," said Grandpa. Bart said, "No matter how it happened, I'm glad they're gone." Henry looked at the good food on the table. After all that honey, he couldn't eat a bite. That was okay, because honey had cured his hiccups. Do you think honey cured his hiccups? Well, this is the story again of Henry Has the Hiccups by Karen Cogan. This story is available on Amazon and on Smashwords. It's available in paperback from Amazon, and it's available on download in both formats from Amazon and Smashwords. You can find it if you look up Amazon Karen Cogan. Thank you.